Well, hey, you, and welcome back to another episode of the Miss Michaela Mae Show. I'm your host, Miss Michaela Mae, and today we're going to talk about something I wasn't planning on talk about, a path I wasn't planning to go down, and yet here we are. So, I'm recording this on January 12th, 2026, and on December 13th, 2025, my childhood horse, passed away, and he passed away in front of me. And I'm not ready to talk about the totality of it yet. But what I wanted to talk about today is, and I have talked about previously on this show, is there's an episode titled, When You Realize You're Going the Wrong Direction, It's Okay to Turn Around. And as my horse was passing away in front of me, something became very abundantly clear. And it's that I'm still trying to play it safe in regards to controlling how people see and perceive me. So if I think I'm safe being seen in this group of people, I'll talk about this. If I feel safe being seen by this group of people, I'll talk about this. And it's very much a micromanaging energy of filtering myself so that I am trying to control how people perceive me, essentially. And so as he was passing away, I'm realizing this. Like I'm trying to live almost two different lives, which is ironic because one of my favorite shows growing up was Hannah Montana. And, you know, there was something so, and I think we're all drawn to that because there's a reason that show was a big success. But I think we're all drawn to the idea that we can have this one persona and then shut it down and have this other persona and get the best of both worlds, if you will. And that's something that certainly spoke to me, except this is more, I don't think I could be accepted for the totality of who I am. So I only speak about the parts that I know are accepted by like these groups of people. And what's interesting enough, one of the things that I do through the grieving process, you know, I've had animals my whole life. So it's new because I hadn't had a horse like him prior to him, obviously, but, this one is different. But, you know, we've lost horses before, dogs before, cats before. Like you get a process, right? And one of my process is art, creating art. And then another part of my process is, and this was something I learned when I started my like doing medium reads for people who had crossed over, is all souls have a lesson that they want back here on earth. And so to honor that soul, I really go back through and take note of all the lessons this soul taught me, whether it's a human, a dog, a horse, whatever. And I really do my best to embody and teach the lessons that they taught, but then also just embody it within myself, because that's just, from my experience, the best way to honor a soul is to keep their lessons and their message alive here on earth, even after they are gone. And so I went back through I'm going back through, I'm not fully done, and just really thinking about, like, Capone was his name. You know, what did Capone teach me? And if you're on YouTube, I am at my mom's house right now, and there's a glare, but my senior picture is right over my shoulder, and you can see Capone, and then my other shoulder, there's actually another senior picture of myself with Capone. And so the lesson that I've really boiled down with Capone, and the lesson that he taught me, is acceptance, because Capone had a pretty rough start, and all the things that everyone told me about this horse, I never saw to be true. And after he crossed, I was talking to him and I asked him, like, why was that? Why were you able to be so much better? Like, and the people that I got him from had done a really great job rehabbing him and getting him back to where he could trust people. But his start in training was really, really rough. And what it boiled down to was acceptance. I never tried to make Capone anything he wasn't. I just accepted it for who he was, and I loved him for who he was. And that is the lesson he is here to teach me. And now that he's crossed over, it's my job to learn how to treat myself the way I treated Capone, but also to treat myself the way Capone treated me, with, like, to look at myself the way Capone looked at me, which is really interesting that now that he's crossed, that is the lesson, because I write music, and I haven't finished this song, but one of the songs I've been working on since like 2022, I think I channeled this. And when I say channeled, I really feel like spiritual stuff, art, at its best is a message from God, source, the divine, whatever you want to call it. And so when I get these ideas, I don't feel they're coming through me and I'm going to put my flavor in them. But the actual idea, I don't feel like it's mine. I feel like it's everyone's in a way. And that specific idea just has a way that it wants to come through. It's not the message, it's the delivery, right? So the same message can go through 100,000 different people, and each person is going to have their unique delivery. And that's the special and uniqueness. And that's why it's so important that so many different people bring the same message through, because the way I deliver the idea is going to land with a very certain specific set of people, and the way you might deliver that same idea is going to land with a completely different set of people. So that's why it's so important that we keep sharing our message and really honor the uniqueness in our own delivery. But anyway, the song comes through and I start working on it, and I remembered it after Capone passed away. I'm like, man, I think I remember I started a song a few years ago about Capone, and I go back through my notes because I keep all this stuff in my notes, and sure enough, it was there. And the theme of the song, even then, a few years ago, was acceptance. And it's interesting that this idea, this theme, has been knocking at my door for a while, but I haven't fully opened it up. And now that I feel like Capone's gone, now it's like I have to fully open this up. And so part of this is me accepting myself fully for who I am and allowing people to see me for all that I am. And I feel like me starting the 2 different podcasts is a dishonor to that. It's me still trying to control how I'm seen, how I'm perceived. All of that being said, as of right now, I'm going to close the Miss Michaela Mae Show down. We're going to hit pause. I'm not going to delete it, but I am going to just stop recording, and I'm going to put my focus completely on my podcast, The Western Hippie, again, with trying to fully accept and own who I am in my totality. This is as of right now. I have been known to change my mind. I might get an idea for an episode that I feel like just belongs on the Miss Michaela Mae Show, and I might pop back over to here. And, you know, I always am looking for, okay, well, what was the purpose? Like, if that was a detour, like, what was the whole purpose of that detour? And one, it just got me recording again. And sometimes we need that. Like, sometimes we need to go off path to get like back in a habit, because I was in a podcasting slump, and knowing that I could go experiment without people like really seeing or hearing me, it was freeing. And so there was a purpose in it, because it got me back in the habit of podcasting. And then the other thing is, I've always wanted to see how quickly I could start a podcast from scratch. I've always wanted to do that. I've always wanted to put it in a course, and I have proof. I did it in a day. You know, my goal was 3 days. I did it in a day. And so even that, I'm going to put it into a course and I will sell it. And so there's always a purpose in everything, even when we take the detours and even when we appear to go off path, like our intuition knows we're going to take that path. And so it already has the plan like back. And arguably this was the path, right? We just view it as not being the path. And again, I may come back here. I may, like I said, I've still been on the fence on how far and deep I want to go into culture and politics. I may decide once I get the Western Hippie to a baseline, I may decide to do more here. We'll see how the political hellscape continues to go, and if I feel like my voice is needed in that space. Like, as of right now, I really just want to nurture the Western Hippie, and I started a Substack. I'll link my Substack below. I want to focus on my Substack and take the pressure off of me to keep this show going. So again, it's not a stop. It's not an end. It's a pause. I may resume it in a week. I may resume it in 6 weeks. The whole point of me even sharing this, because one of the things I've really tried to encourage myself is like, you don't have to announce your every move. You really don't. You don't have to announce your every move. You don't have to explain yourself. And I felt like in this moment, it was important for me to say something, because I want to give you permission to do the same. If you just need to hit pause, it's okay. It doesn't have to be an end. It doesn't have to be a stop. I just keep seeing visuals of, you know, the old VCRs. It doesn't have to be an eject. It can literally just be a pause, and you'll come back to it when it's time. And so that is the permission slip I needed. That is the permission slip I'm giving you today. I really appreciate you going on this journey with me. Definitely, I will link the Western Hippie below. Definitely come over to the Western Hippie, where I will be pouring like my heart and soul into. Again, I have a feeling in a couple of months, once I get, because when Capone passed away, a ton of changes unfolded that I'm, again, not ready to talk about. Once I get through this wave, I have a feeling I will be back to the Miss Michaela Mae Show. But as of right now, we are pressing pause. Check me over at the Western Hippie or on my Substack. I'm just so grateful for you being with me on this journey. And yeah, I'll see you over at the Western Hippie podcast.